my name is Dänna Wilberg. I've done several things as an entrepreneur. I had a wearable art business, I had a stained glass business, and I also had a business called I'll Be Dipped, where I did chocolate covered goodies. So, and I'm an author. So I've also written books and done some filmmaking too. So
The
yeah.
list goes on. My God.
Yeah, I'm still looking for that, that one thing I can stick to.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have a little spread of everything.
Yeah, I think that's the spice of life, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Since you're going to be inspiring so many young girls and women with this interview, could you talk about who your inspiration, your role models have been?
My mother was a great inspiration. She was very intelligent. She was funny and a very talented woman. Unfortunately, she was a housewife and a mother, and at the time, growing up, a lot of women did not mix work with motherhood and being a wife. So, although she was a good role model as far as inspiring us to aim high and achieve things that we wanted to do, she herself was kind of locked into that mindset that, a woman's place is in the home. So she made our home the best place that she could possibly make. She was a great baker. Uh, she was very, she could have been a clothes designer. She was very into fashion and different things. And she was an artist. So she was a very talented woman. Oh, and Martha Stewart. I loved Martha Stewart. She could do anything, you know? So
Well, all of that definitely seems to transition to your work with everything you do and the variety at the very least. So, do you work with a business coach or a mentor right now?
you know, in a way, yes. I don't do it as a business per se, but I'm very willing to work with young writers, young filmmakers. When people, if they need my advice for something or if they need my help, I'm very willing to jump in and show them what I know. Because it's for me, it's paid forward. I had a lot of people helping me accomplish my dreams and goals, so I like to pay that forward.
That's a wonderful mindset to have. I'm sure they're all very grateful for your help.
Well, thank you.
So you mentioned you had some mentors. Did they help you decide what businesses you wanted to create, or did you know right from the beginning?
I always had support. Um, then again, sometimes I didn't, So what are you going to do that for? Because I want to, because I have this vision, I have to do this. Well, why can't you just do it as a hobby? Because, you know, putting yourself out there and selling your product is very validating, and people can pat you on the back and say, oh, that's so pretty or that's so nice. But when someone's paying for your design or your creation, it's like, yes, I've arrived, and I think that part of having a business and running a business, you're your own boss, you make the rules, and you have that feedback, that validation that you're doing a good job because people are still paying you to do it, right? Yeah. Whether it's them
Definitely.
buying my books or buying my strawberries or my wearable art or my art projects or my glass designs and stuff. Um, it's fun. I actually, when I started out, and I don't know if this is kind of jumping over into one of your other questions, I think one of the things that thrilled me when I first started doing glass was I was making these stained glass fairies with these beautiful wings and stuff they put them in the Street of Dreams in El Dorado Hills. And I was like, that was a big deal. That was a really big deal that my
Yeah.
work was being shown at the Street of Dreams. And then someone stole one. And that was even more validating because they wanted it that bad that they had to take it. So that was kind of an interesting story.
And that sounds like one of your most satisfying moments
It
in
was a
business.
satisfying moment. I've had a lot of those satisfying moments. If that's what we're leading into, I think anytime for somebody who has taken an idea and ran with it and just let it explode into the universe and made it something that they've envisioned, and you can move forward with that, and somebody else on the other end is appreciating what you're doing. um, it just makes it that much better, so
I couldn't agree
I don't
more.
know if that was a question, but
Well, it's a great answer. So, on the flip side of those rewarding aspects of entrepreneurship, what would you say is the most disappointing or difficult part of entrepreneurship that maybe you weren't expecting when you first started?
well, like I said, when you have an idea, what you need to do is find your audience, people that your market, people who want your stuff, people who eat strawberries, and people who like to wear artwork on their body. um, I used to make kaleidoscope airplanes. It's finding your niche, finding your readers for your books. And I think once you hone into that, um, that's when you start to take off. Like getting there can be really brutal. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to, uh, like the California State Fair, and I've stood there all day and not sold one book. And it's heartbreaking, or, when your royalties are dribbling in, on a book that everybody says they love it, but, who's buying it? So, there's, and I've paid attention to different entrepreneurs and different women role models as well. And as I mentioned to you, Danielle Gromley, who is doing Hello Puddin'. She's my daughter's age, and I've watched her grow, and it's like, come on, you're just rocking and rolling. This is just absolutely incredible. And I learned things from her. I learned things from other authors, other artists. There's it should be a collaboration. I think life should be a collaboration. So disappointments, I guess, is when people don't buy your books or buy your product, or tell you no, I don't want that. So
It sounds like you've come out on the other side of that with some wisdom. So, what do you do when you face those setbacks?
you know, I have a drawer full of rejection letters. I have sometimes I regroup and think, well, maybe this was not the best idea. Maybe there's something else I can do that'll be more rewarding. And you can tell I've regrouped several times. Of course, I've had a long span of years to be dabbling, with different things. But I think when you truly find your passion, and you just keep persevering, and when it's satisfying to me, it doesn't matter as much. um, it's a livelihood, but it's not. It's what sustains my soul that's important at this point in my life. So, but for young girls starting out, you have your whole life ahead of you. Just put yourself out there, experiment with what it is you want to do, and if it takes off, God bless you. You might find 5 years from now you want to go in a different direction. and that's what life's about. It's a journey. Don't put yourself in a box. Yeah.
That is some great advice. And you touched on this a little so far just now. What would you say are the top 3 skills a girl needs to become a successful entrepreneur?
I think the most important is doing your homework, knowing what product it is you want to put out there, perfecting that product, and then finding your niche, finding who your buyers are, finding who, and also, you know, there's a part of a creative person that doesn't want to do that other part. I'm one of those. I like to do the creating, but as far as the marketing and the um, product placement, whatever it is, that's something that I've really had to struggle with and learn along the way. It's not my forte. So my suggestion is, if that's what your forte is, you find somebody else you can trust to handle the important part, or the business end of it, to make sure you're successful.
That sounds great. I completely agree. I like the creating part a lot more. So sometimes it's good to put together a team and a little partnership. Definitely.
Yeah.
In all your industries, how do you address gender and diversity as an entrepreneur?
Um, most of the things I've done have appealed to anybody. And as far as employees, I've always done everything myself, so I really haven't, except for filmmaking. Um, Filmmaking is a collaborative effort, and I diversity is key. I like to work with um, a variety of different ages, different ethnic groups, males, females. I think there's room for everybody in that industry. And with writing's, that's kind of a one-man job, except when you get to the, excuse me, I'm getting a pop-up here. Except when you get to the part, where you're going to be publishing and stuff. So I really don't have a lot of expertise with having to deal with that, but except with the film industry, making films.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So turning towards the girls a little more, if you could go back in time to the founding of any of your various companies and ventures and give yourself a piece of advice, what would you tell yourself?
I think I would tell myself to stick to my guns, go with my gut, and believe in myself more. You know, to passion dies out really quickly when there's a lot of adversity, and unfortunately, that's something that you learn as you grow. Unless you're a diehard. And there's a lot of excuse me, there's a lot of young people out there that are, you look like you're a person to reckon with. Look at what you've accomplished, right? No one's going to slow you down.
Thank you.
And I don't know if it's because of my generation. I think if I was your age now, starting out, I would have a lot more moxie than I did when I was younger, because it wasn't as acceptable. Women were still kind of in a box. There weren't a whole lot of women breaking out, and well, then women's liberation started and that changed things. But before that, no. not when I was your age. When I was your age, it was, oh, get married, find a good husband, have some kids, it was different. So
Well, I'm
I
glad
do, you girls.
the girls have the opportunities now and you're giving them advice along the way to help them. So,
Yes.
are there any last pieces of advice you'd want to give girls who want to start their own company, but maybe they're a little hesitant?
You know, I think if you're the kid who had the lemonade stand, you're unstoppable. I think that if you're the kid who stayed up all night on a weekend perfecting something, you've got this. I think if you're the kind of person, kind of female kind of girl that um, you listen to your heart instead of other people when it comes to your goals, I think, you've got a great future in doing what you want to do. I think, sky's the limit. Sky's the limit for girls now, you know, and reach out, definitely reach out to, people in the industry and, get some help if you need it, just don't stop. Don't stop believing in yourself. Yeah.
Those were all some great lines. I'm excited for the girls to hear all of those. So, lastly, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
Lastly, can you share a funny story from your career?
I was thinking about that. um, Actually, I kind of have two if you have time. One of them was when I was doing wearable art. We had, we worked really hard getting our inventory ready. We went to this crafts fair with the intention of becoming rich overnight, and nobody was there. We couldn't find anybody to help us set up. We were getting really discouraged, and we stood there all day long in the heat. Come to find out, it was the wrong day. So that was one funny story. Another one was when I was writing. Uh, I was up in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden there was all this gibberish typing across my screen. And I thought my computer was possessed. I really did. It was kind of a really creepy feeling. I had no idea I had Dragon on my computer, and I must have hit it and didn't realize it. And I had the TV on, so I was picking up all this stuff, that was being said through the TV. So those are the only two I could really think of that
Oh
were kind of
my
fun.
gosh,
Yeah,
that's really hilarious.
but it's
Last
been a
weekend,
great venture.
yeah. As
So
to your craft story, last weekend I set my alarm all early for 7:30 in the morning for a charity yoga session with my friend, and it's this weekend, not last weekend.
ah,
So I feel your pain.
I hate when that happens. Oh, well, I have I've had a really good time reinventing myself and kind of getting to know who I am, what I'm capable of. And I think for anybody, that's the most important part of growing is getting to know what your limitations are, what you're capable of doing. It and you'll be surprised. You'll really be surprised how you can forge through life and accomplish the things that you want if you just believe you can. So
Thank you
that's
for
all
all
I got.
Words of wisdom. I saw your story on your website. It was so incredible how you started writing from your injury, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I guess that's kind of a my little personal success story is, you know, I was in this car accident that was just it was horrible. I couldn't I couldn't stand up straight. You know, I couldn't lift my arms. There were so many things I couldn't do, and I couldn't. Sometimes I couldn't open my car door. I completely forgot, you know, how to do it. It was horrifying. And one of the things that kept me kind of sane was exchanging stories with a friend of mine, and I'd stay up all night writing. And it was exciting. It took me out of myself into another place where I was having fun. I was creating characters that, you know, I was, um, you know, slipping into their space and becoming them. And it was just, it was really a lot of fun. And that's how I started writing. But I needed a lot of work. And fortunately, and this was sort of divine intervention. I went from volunteering at KVIE, the public broadcasting station in Sacramento, um, where I met, there was the group Sisters in Crime were on the phone bank of the pledge drive that they were doing. So I met them. And then through a synchronistic moment, I met a woman who was a teacher that lived in the same town I did. And this woman helped me relearn all the things that it was like my all my files were thrown up in the air and scattered, but she helped me relearn a lot of the things that I couldn't remember. I was an A+ student, English student. You know, I was that was my forte. I couldn't remember a thing, so I had to kind of relearn to write all over again. And you know, where the periods and the commas go, and you know which word goes before what, an adverb, and a lot of this I still don't remember. It's in there, but it's just accessing it that I have trouble with. So the fact that I became a writer at all is kind of a miracle. But it was that was and from there, you know, just trying to push myself in doing things that I enjoy doing and that I thought other people may benefit from. So
Wow.
never say never.
Serious.
Never say never.
That is
Yeah.
so admirable. I mean, after all that you became a writer and all of these other things. That is just so incredible.
You know, I think you're your own worst enemy when it comes to, you know, beating yourself up for things, but you're also your best cheerleader, you know, and when you firmly believe that you can do something, or even if you want to prove to yourself you can do something, you know, it's what are my limitations in achieving that? And when you realize that the only person standing in your way is you know, you're unstoppable. So I hope all your young entrepreneurs um, not only become successful, but remember their journey in becoming successful, because those are the things that are important. It's the journey. Yeah.
Definitely. And then they can share their stories like you.
Well, I hope so. And I can't wait to hear some of their stories, you know. I'd love to know more about you and how you're inspiring young entrepreneurs. I think your story is fabulous as well.
Thank
How
you.
did you get started?
Well, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur since I was really young. And I kept telling people I was going to be an entrepreneur. And I was coming up with all these ideas I wanted to turn into businesses. But I didn't really know where to start or how to create my own company. And I found myself just waiting until I was old enough, until after college or high school at least, until I started adult life. And I I mean, at least until college, since I need to focus on school, I thought it was a little late to start my own company now, but I wanted to help other girls who felt like me and they didn't really know where to start to help them start their own companies in middle and high school and earlier, and just to let them know that it is possible to start when you're younger, because I didn't really believe that until I started Sweet.
Wow. Well, I wish you the best of luck. It's just an awesome company. And I'm sure you watch Shark Tank, right? Do you
Yeah,
watch Shark Tank?
I
I
definitely.
love Shark Tank.
Me too.
You see that just it's, people are amazing in all the different ideas they come up with. And I think we're all meant to do something great, you know, and whether it's inspiring others or creating a product that makes things life easier or entertainment wise, whatever it is, it's I I really believe that we're put on this planet with a plan, that we're supposed to pursue those things. And you know it in your heart, right? You know it in your heart that there's something that you want to do, that you need to do, that you're driven to do. And interesting enough, when I had a TV show for 15 years called Paranormal Connection in Sacramento. And one of the guests that I brought on was an astrologer. And she said, well, Donna, I would really like to do your chart because I want to see, what's going on with you. You do all these different things. And I was just blown away at how much this chart showed about me from the time I was born till present day. And I was meant to be a writer. I mean, it was written in the stars. I was meant to be a writer. And if you would have told me that, I would have never believed you, up until a certain point. But it even showed at which point things turned and shifted in my life to make it happen. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my gosh, I want to do that. That is so cool.
Yeah. So reach out to me. I'll put you in touch with my astrologer. I and it wasn't just one. I had a couple of guests, that did my chart, and they both said the same thing. So it made me realize that, um, the days when you asked about disappointments, the days when things don't go right, the days when that there's a disappointment, I get a rejection letter, I'm not chosen for an anthology, or this publisher, he wants to take a pass, that I don't look at it as a setback. I look at it as I need to tweak my course a little bit, that I'm not going, maybe specifically in the right direction, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It's meant to happen. It's my destiny. So there may be just learning how to accept rejection is a lesson. You have to embrace that. So it
Def-
makes the success that much sweeter, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time today and all of your incredible stories and words of wisdom. I'm so excited to share this interview and all of your advice with everyone on Sweet.
Well, thank you so much for getting in touch with me. And I am wishing you the best of luck. And I'm going to be looking for you. I want to see more.
Yay, you
I
will.
want to watch your journey unfold.
Thank
So
you.